Welcome to Positron, and thank you for your time. Today we would like to present to you Positron's line of outdoor communication demarcation facility cabinets, offering a solution to help manage demarcation facilities in view of new NERC SIP requirements for protection of cyber assets. The North American Electric Reliability Corporation, or NERC, mandated new rules and requirements aimed at protecting the bulk electric system, or BES. Determining what is in scope and out of scope for NERC SIP cybersecurity of the BES is difficult. The different criteria laid out for communications demarcation are not easy to apply in view of the lack of a defined electronic security perimeter, or ESP. In each case, though, the equipment owned by the telecom provider interfaces with the power company terminations that are directly connected. Historically, the demarcation point between the two entities was more of a commercial concern rather than a security concern. Consequently, demarcation points were determined more by convenience and expediency than security. This brings us to the difficult situation of trying to bring order to chaos. High-voltage isolation equipment in many forms has been installed in substations since the 1930s. Many installations in the control house were performed from a just-get-it-done standpoint. The actual demarcation point varies from site to site and company to company. With many legacy high-voltage isolation interfaces mounted inside the control house, often neither entity, the telephone company nor the power utility, truly knows who owns what, and that is the criteria for true demarcation. Many old, unmaintained high-voltage interfaces are installed throughout the country, lacking clear indications of who truly owns what. Unmaintained high-voltage interfaces that have been subjected to many GPR events can weaken over the decades. This subject has not received the attention it deserves, though. Having an old HVI that poses a risk inside the substation control house is counterintuitive to securing the bulk electric system cyber assets. Establishing a new demarcation facility with a new outdoor cabinet HVI assembly mounted on an H-frame inside the switchyard is a key enabler to NERC SIP security requirements compliance. As specialists in GPR and HVIs, Positron can help you renew the high-voltage interface and establish a demarcation point that lends itself well to NERC SIP requirements. Furthermore, a new, modern, pre-wired and configured HVI will give you demarcation facilities and a high-voltage interface of the highest quality that will last for many decades. This approach works very well for both on-grid and hybrid fiber isolation schemes, since both a Telelight OEI and Teleline isolation cabinet will typically be mounted outside of the substation control house in the area of the switchyard. This is convenient because NERC imposes strict standards that include standards and procedures that must be engaged when non-power company personnel must enter the control house of a substation. With the HVI in the switchyard, the telecom provider's responsibility stops at that point, and the power company is responsible for the installation of cabling facilities for the continuation of the communications and control circuits into the control house. However, when a substation is served by dielectric fiber, there is no HVI, on-grid or otherwise, in which to establish a demarcation point outside of the control house. Positron's demarcation cabinet offers an easy-to-manage and accessible demarc facility. When placed and bonded to the substation ground at the edge of the ground grid, near the substation fence, both telephone company and power company personnel can enjoy equal and unfettered access to the demarcation facilities. The telephone company can place their ONT, or optical network terminal, in the upper left portion of the demarc cabinet. The power company places their terminating copper or fiber cable in the upper right-hand portion of the demarc cabinet. The whole of the left-hand side of the white-painted backboard of the demarc cabinet is reserved for the telephone company's optical termination equipment. The copper output of the optical network termination can be punched onto the 25-pair 66-type solid-state protector block located in the lower center of the cabinet. From this point, the power company has the option to either install a copper station cable punched down onto the same 66-type protector block that will then feed into the terminating equipment in the substation control house, or the power company may install a Telelight optical system in the upper right-hand portion of the demarc cabinet and continue with power company-owned dielectric fiber into the control house terminations. This simple and easy-to-manage demarcation facility enables equal access without compromising security inside the substation control house. Positron's demarcation cabinets offer a dual locking system for increased security. One padlock can be used to secure the cabinet doorknob, and a second padlock locks the custom-made heavy-gauge stainless steel hasps integrated into the convolutions of the cabinet's door frame and seal. In the right-hand portion of the DMARC cabinet backboard are two fiber take-up spools and a raised steel bracket used to mount a Corning duplex patch panel to help manage the power company's dielectric fiber span from the DMARC cabinet into the substation control house. Installed on the bottom left and top right-hand sides of the DMARC cabinet are filtered vents to allow convection cooling of the telco's optical network terminal and Positron's Telelight downstream optical transport system. The DMARC cabinet is equipped with a heavy-duty, solid copper 7-position ground bar that can accommodate up to a 2-aught ground conductor. Additionally, a 7-position zinc-plated copper equipment ground bar is provided for the local earthing of the telco's ONT and the Positron Telelight optical system. In the lower middle of the DMARC cabinet, a 25-pair 66-type solid-state protector block is installed to accept the copper output of the telco's ONT and can act as a cross-connect to the copper RJ receptacle inputs of the Telelight optical cards. Adjacent to the 25-pair protector block are 3 cable distribution spools to assist in managing the copper cabling associated with the output of the ONT. A convenient power panel is installed in the lower right-hand side of the DMARC cabinet. An uninterruptible power supply, or UPS, can be installed to deliver service AC to the 4 receptacle GFCI power outlets. The telco can plug the ONT into the 120-volt service outlet, or, if a Telelight optical system is used to continue the circuit transport into the control house, 120V AC, floating 48 volts DC, or floating 130 volts DC can be fed in via the fused input power terminal block. Pre-installed conductors on the fused power input terminal block can be connected to a Telelight plug-in power supply. The minus 48 volt DC output of the Telelight power supply can be expressed to power the ONT using the Telelight access card. The pre-installed conductors from the fused input power terminal block feed into the input power screw terminals of the Telelight power supply. Minus 48 volt DC output voltage can be sourced from the faceplate screw terminals of the Telelight access card to power the telephone company's ONT. The Telelight power supplies and access card share the same form factor as the Telelight optical application cards. Positron's demarcation cabinets feature pre-installed bushings to accommodate 2-inch conduits. The hole for the ground conductor is sized for a maximum 2-aught ground conductor. Conduit designation is indicated with engraved adhesive nameplates inside and out. The hole pattern closely matches the conduit hole pattern of the Teleline Isolator 5-card shelf cabinet assembly 751960/15. This enables the power company to use the same H-frame mounting and conduit entry designs created for mounting a Teleline Isolator cabinet assembly. Designed for reliability in the harshest of electrical environments, for more than a decade, Positron's Telelight optical isolator has served in substations in all corners of North America. Designed and manufactured to the latest standards in surface mount technology, Telelight has been tested and certified to NEBS Level 3, which is the most stringent standard for telecommunications equipment today. Telelight offers you a mature solution to continue a dielectric fiber entrance feed to the control house on the power utility side of the DMARC point. Choice is a key word when considering a Telelight optical system. With a wide assortment of shelves and assemblies to select, your equipment costs will be proportionate to your needs and wants. Different companies have standardized on different shelf schemes that suit their local and national requirements. Telelight shelves are available to suit a variety of different form factors. The flagship 7-slot shelf can be installed in the upper right-hand quadrant of the demarcation cabinet. Inside the control house, the shelf can be backboard, wall, or rack-mounted when fitted with brackets. The 2-slot shelf is neat and compact, occupying only 1 RU of rack space. 3 2-slot shelves can be daisy-chained together, distributing power supply output power amongst the shelves. The 3-slot shelf has a wall profile of only 4 inches when closed and can swing open 90 degrees for Telelight card access or to read the Telelight faceplate LEDs. An excellent choice when space inside the control house is limited or cramped. When open slots are blanked, the nature of these stainless steel shelves enable them to act as virtual Faraday cages, enabling extreme immunity in the high-noise environment of a power substation. To continue the flow of communications and control circuits using dielectric fiber into the control house, a wide assortment of single, dual, and quad circuit Telelight cards enable you to achieve a high circuit density using only a single shelf at either end of the fiber span to accommodate any current services delivered by the telephone company. Throughout the decades, positron saw opportunity where others did not. As an example, positron pioneered enhanced 911 technology in the late 1980s that changed how the world responded to emergency situations. The enhancements introduced then still underpin how enhanced 911 is deployed today. For over 45 years, positron has been supplying leading-edge technology covering several niche applications in telephony and the power utility industry. Positron's experienced GPR service professionals can help you refresh your high-voltage interface and move the HVI and subsequent demarc out of the control house and into the switchyard. One of the strongest benefits of adopting this proposed demarcation strategy is realized once uniformity of demarcation facilities across the operating footprint of a power utility are established. A uniform strategy across the operating footprint makes adherence to NERC SIP requirements relating to cybersecurity and the need to restrict non-power company personnel from entering the control house much easier. For more information on positron's products and services, contact your local positron sales representative or contact positron's headquarters toll-free at 1-888-577-5254. That's 1-888-577-5254.